This is iFIBER 1 News. Here are today's top stories.
A high-speed pursuit suspect is in jail after barricading himself inside his home Friday near Moses Lake.
For residents in the region who live near Chelan Falls, it's been quite a day and quite a 2018 fire season, too.
It's a waiting game now for Deputy Jennifer Tyler to find out if she'll challenge her boss, Brian Burnett, to become Chelan County Sheriff in November.
The Grant County Fair held the first night of the 75th annual Moses Lake Roundup last night.
From the iFIBER 1 newsroom, this is iFIBER 1 News. And it starts now.
A high-speed pursuit suspect is in jail after barricading himself inside his home Friday near Moses Lake. 38-year-old Robert Gwynn was noticed by deputies as he drove near roads L and 5 Northeast just east of Moses Lake. Deputies say Gwynn was wanted on outstanding warrants and was to also be served with a protection order. Deputies say Gwynn initially pulled over for a traffic stop but then continued, leading police on an about 5-mile chase that reached speeds of about 100 miles per hour, and at one point he reportedly aimed his vehicle at deputies, setting up spike strips. Gwynn reportedly then fled from his vehicle in the Larson community and was later seen by a deputy entering his home through the back door on Vandenberg Loop Northwest. Deputies say Gwynn refused to come out of the home and had reportedly climbed up into an attic. The Moses Lake Regional Tactical Response Team, along with canines from both the Sheriff's Office and Moses Lake Police, surrounded the home, and Gwynn eventually surrendered and was booked into Grant County Jail for felony eluding, attempted assault, and his outstanding warrants. A second person in the home, 33-year-old Matthew Valenzuela, was also arrested for several felony warrants. This is Joe Utter for iFIBER 1 News.
This segment is brought to you by...
Change doesn't have to be complicated. With a low-profile microwave hood combination that's ready to install right out of the box. It fits in the same space as your under-cabinet hood, so you can get your microwave off the countertop and make space for the routines worth keeping. The low-profile microwave hood combination, from the #1 selling appliance brand in the USA.
Whirlpool Appliances, now available at more furniture in Ephrata.
For residents in the region who live near Chelan Falls, it's been quite a day and quite a 2018 fire season, too. Early Friday morning, a rapidly developing thunderstorm sparked multiple fires in the vicinity, as well as one that smoldered for several hours before fully igniting just before noon. Pete Bova and his wife lived directly across from where that fire sparked, as well as 2 others that broke out within an 8-hour span this morning.
Last night at 4:32, the thunder just woke us up. It rocked the trailer and went outside because all of a sudden the sky just lit up. And across the river, lightning hit the bank, and all of a sudden there was fire everywhere. Then about 5 minutes later, another strike and another fire directly above it. So I called 911 and reported it, and 15 minutes later, we had a thunderstorm that came through. It started smoldering and the fire flames were out. And now all of a sudden this afternoon...
This, a fast-moving 60-acre brush fire only a few hundred yards away from the Bova's house. iFIBER 1 News was there as multiple forms of aerial support from the Department of Natural Resources and the U.S. Forest Service coordinated with Chelan County Fire District No. 7 to douse the blaze with water from the nearby Columbia River. District 7 Deputy Fire Chief Mark Donnell says hand crews were able to quickly hike in and build a containment line around the fire, and this, along with the aerial suppression, were able to halt its spread. The Bovas, meanwhile, who just relocated to the area from Woodinville, say this is the third wildfire in less than a month that's come to within a mile of their new home.
3 weeks ago, we had the fire on the ridge right over here, the BB Fire Ridge fire, and we had a DC-10 come through, we had an MD-80 come through, we had 4 helicopters, and 2 skimmers, and 4 helicopters. So this is the third fire now in the last 3 weeks.
So you didn't move near an airport, but you're starting to get used to this.
They were all the helicopters were lined up out here in the field, hooking up all of their balloons. So this has been a real intriguing summer for us here.
Pretty scary?
Well, we're building a brand new house here, and we're kind of wondering what's going on.
What's going on is another very active fire season around north central Washington. Fortunately, so far today, the latest batch of wildfires have all been contained with no damage to property and no injuries reported. However, with high winds expected to hit the region later this evening, Deputy Chief Donnell told iFIBER One News, quote, "I don't think it's over," end quote. Reporting for iFIBER One News, I'm Chris Hansen.
This segment is brought to you by...
Your taste buds bored? Well, then bring them to Jay's Teriyaki. Not only does Jay's have a variety of teriyaki dishes, they also offer mouth-watering salads and sides. Call Jay's 509-764-5155. Jay's Teriyaki, located at 123 East Broadway in Moses Lake, because it's all in the sauce.
It's a waiting game now for Deputy Jennifer Tyler to find out if she'll challenge her boss, Brian Burnett, to become Chelan County Sheriff in November. Tyler must win 1% at least of all votes cast in the sheriff's race in the August 7th primary. Her results won't be known until Tuesday. Burnett ran on the primary ballot officially unopposed. Tyler declared herself a write-in candidate after a Kashmir resident said he'd written her name in on the ballot.
And I thought, I'd really like for that one vote to count. I'd like for him to know that it mattered to me that he did that.
Burnett's not taking any chances. The weekend after Tyler's declaration, he pulled his campaign signs out of storage and placed them throughout the Wenatchee Valley.
Now looking back, it would have been nice to maybe I put a few out, but at the same time, we just said, hey, if we're going to have an opponent, I need people to know that I'm serious and I'm prepared.
It's a long-shot bid for the patrol deputy, going up against a two-term incumbent sheriff, who's also her boss.
There are going to be challenges. When Sheriff Burnett ran against Mike Harum, he was a corporal for him. He understands those challenges. I know that I have certain policies that I have to abide by.
I mean, it's always awkward. It's never comfortable. And it has made me reflect on what it might have felt like for Sheriff Harum when I entered the race and challenged him.
Earlier this year, Tyler won more than $500,000 in a civil judgment against the Sheriff's Department. A Douglas County jury found she'd been unjustly fired by former Sheriff Mike Harum, and that Burnett's administration mishandled her return to the force when she was reinstated. Tyler says if she wins the chance to campaign, she wants to address problems like those she's encountered on the force.
Those issues have to be addressed. We have to figure out a way to make roughly 50 commissioned officers be treated fairly, equally, and get along.
For his part, Burnett says morale and team building have come a long way since he was first elected in 2010.
We are hiring phenomenal people, and they're out there doing a good job, which means that's better service to the community.
Jefferson Robbins, iFIBER One News.
The Grant County Fair held the first night of the 75th annual Moses Lake Roundup last night, and it was an entertaining time for all in attendance. Cowboys from all over the United States and Canada came to Moses Lake to compete in this week's rodeo. Many of the riders and ropers are nationally ranked in their event, meaning fans of rodeo got to see the best of the best do it. One such cowboy is Tyrell Smith, who rides bucking horses. Smith traveled to Moses Lake all the way from Great Falls, Montana, but this isn't the first time he's been to Moses Lake. Smith won his event at the Roundup back in the early 2010s. Smith said that he was born in the rodeo and he loves doing it. While it may be hard to be away from family most of the summer, Smith says he can't imagine doing anything else and it runs in his blood. The rodeo will be back every night through the end of the fair. I'm Adam Chikoski for iFIBER One Sports.
This is iFIBER One News. For more information on these stories and other news, visit us online at iFiber1.com or check us out on Facebook.